Jen, you want to use the Google Meet recording for this meeting? I just learned that the YouTube wasn't broadcasting audio this whole time. Just fixed it. This is just
Okay, so table 4A is basically if you have a problem lot, if you had a lot that existed before 1975, or you have some special exception from the city, these are the setback rules that you have to follow. So 4A, so if you have a lot that's somewhere between 3 and 7 acres, you have to comply with RR5.
Which is a minimum of,
Yeah.
so how can that be if it's a minimum of 5 acres and you got a 3-acre lot, you can't comply?
No, what I'm saying is, if you have a lot, and you have a special exception, for example, and it's 3 acres, you wanna build on it, you have to satisfy the requirements of RR5, for your setback requirements, and your side. And it's not necessarily a requirement that you have 5 acres, because you have a 3-acre lot.
There were,
Clear, or is that?
yeah, I think so. There's a lot of legal non-conforming lots in Erda. There's a lot of them. And it's saying that if you have one of those and it's over 1 acre, you have to meet the requirements in the RR1 zone.
1
But
to
if-
3, you have
yeah.
the requirements of RR1.
Yep, and if it's over 3, you have to go up to the requirements of an RR5.
Cause there's a couple of 3-acre lots there, like driving behaviors in there. Some 3-acre lots there.
Probably is.
Yeah.
Corey, I just noticed
We know of 2 of them.
Yeah.
For our half-acre lots, of course, we're probably not, you could get an accessory building on a half-acre lot. It says to use zone R1-21. Is that zone getting nixed?
No.
We're keeping the R121.
This has a recommendation.
Okay, okay, we're good.
So I don't think this table is in conflict.
I don't see that
It's
it is.
confusing, but it's probably
very
not in
confusing
conflict.
until you really step and think about it, right?
And the language that describes it puts you on that path, or do we need to change that language?
No, you have to read up in the ordinance itself, up in 4-2, to see what the purpose of table 4.
But see, that's the
Oh.
county's ordinance, it's not our ordinance, and that's what it directs you to, right?
Well, when we adopt it, it'll be ours.
So could we put above the table for
It-
legal non-conforming, just so it's absolutely clear if people are reading it?
Yeah,
Well, it says
and,
equivalent zone, I mean.
Yeah.
and he found it, and that was the answer, because in 4-2, substandard lots,
Yes.
at the time of ordinance passage, so this is for non-conforming lots that are legal. It's there and it spells it all out. I would maybe move table 4A underneath the chapter 4 subsection 2, but maybe not, because that's lot standards. Like I say, if you read the whole thing there, that's where it's at.
Okay.
All right,
I'm okay moving on.
yeah, I'm fine with that. I think we understand where we're at.
Okay. In the definitions, need to remove 181, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying there.
Oh, okay, that was in chapter 2.
Right,
Chapter 2, 180. There was, you must have been typing for a long time. 181 is that double paragraph on there. So the first sentence, it should be 180. The second sentence is actually paragraph 181. It just needs to be removed.
Oh, I see, it's duplicated.
It's just duplicated there.
National Cooperative
Yeah, yeah, that's just 181. It was duplicated over onto 180. Added to 180.
Got it. Okay.
How do you notice this stuff?
He doesn't sleep. He
I-
reads this stuff.
I spent a lot of hours reading this.
You must have.
How's the duty of having so many of us, opposed to 4 or 5 like the block number?
So it looks like all your other changes that take you down to chapter, or title, or chapter 13 are just,
Well, there was one here on chapter 7, and I don't even remember what it was.
three,
Chapter 7, 14, 3H. Get there. Oh, it was just the way it was typed out.
Oh, we need to fix the font.
That one should be easy.
Parking. Yeah, what does that even say? Parking van
Can be accommodated.
required more parking.
More parking than can be accommodated, yes.
He spaced the letters out to give the cars more room.
Let me see if I can jump ahead into chapter 8 and see what that one was. Oops. Oh, yes. Are you on chapter 8 there?
no, hang
Okay. This would be an easy correction too.
I don't know if we need to discuss
These,
easy corrections. during
I
the
don't
meeting.
think so,
on. I'd say
but I'm
just,
done with them.
you just wanna just say, make these these corrections, I can do that.
Yeah.
You don't need to go through every one.
And I couldn't remember if these were simple corrections or
Okay, so
something.
if you got something substantive.
Well, there's- within 515 days of a recognized holiday. That one, I don't know what that's supposed to be. And that's something I guess we'll have to decide.
So where are you at?
Chapter 8, 13, 10.
It's 15 days. If not, you can have Christmas lights up around
Yeah.
the year and then some.
Well, there are people that have lights on their house year round.
Yeah, I got a neighbor that does that as a business.
Are we saying that they can't do that?
That's what that says.
It's a definition. Is it saying take down your Christmas lights? Is that what this law is?
It doesn't say take them down, it just says don't turn them on.
Oh. Yeah, but
I never take mine down.
things are running constantly.
On all my neighbors'
got one
houses.
that does the red, white, blue, different colors.
Yeah.
There's quite a few people that knows how.
Is there a
This is gonna be
problem?
a typo that's come off from Will County.
Is there a problem with having them up?
We might as well remove that.
I,
That law came straight
so-
from
no,
nineteen
this is-
sixty-two.
this is saying that they're exempt from lighting requirements. Let's just get rid of all the days and say these lamps, decorator lamps, smaller than 25-watt ratings are exempt from the requirements in the chapter and leave it at that. We don't need
Oh.
anything about days or holidays or anything else. Just let them be exempt from the
Okay.
lighting.
And what about that last sentence? You wanna keep that?
Decorate a lamp smaller than 7.5 watt rating may be used in any desired string length under the same circumstances.
Let me tell you, by the time you get around to enforcing something like this, you'll have had a lot of other things.
Yeah, we got bigger fish to fry. I would, not even worry about the second sentence because they're smaller than 25. And if we're gonna exempt 25, everything smaller than that's exempted.
So you got one, you got two, three?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let there be Christmas lights year round. I'll go turn mine on.
Okay,
Christmas in July.
Aubrey says, no, you won't.
okay, it is done.
So the next one I had gets up into where Jess had a bunch of them in chapter 15.
Oh, it's gonna get interesting.
And I don't have a copy of Jess's here in front of me to go over the same ones.
I'll let you know if it matches up.
15.3,
I don't have it.
5321, is that where you're at?
yes. If I get there, that's where I'll be at. 15.321. Oh, okay, yeah. A collector type, so this is talking about lot size reductions. We'll give a 6% lot size reduction for doing a collector road. It says a collector class road, at appropriate location, which the city will have to change that as determined as useful. The road shall be finished within 15 years within the subdivision development. Why would we give anyone 15 years? Why would we give them a 6% reduction in lot size and 15 years to build a road? I don't see why we would give anyone 15
point.
years to build a road.
Long time.
What if we gave them 15 months?
I would feel better at 15 months.
I don't mind the lot size reduction, really.
I'm not against the lot size reduction. I think that
Just the
makes
15
sense.
years.
I'm against saying you can have smaller lots and in 15 years build as a road.
I think you're asking for the dedication of the
Dedication, what does that mean? Does that mean
road,
sign,
the real property for the road.
signing over the right, the
right.
property right to the road, to the
So if we
city?
have to take some of your lot for the road, you can get a reduction. Let me just finish reading this and make sure it doesn't talk about construction.
It says road shall be finished within 15 years. That's not dedication, it's finished.
The reduction of lot size. I would feel better at 12 months with a bond of a subdivision. I could go to 15 months, but 15 years just doesn't seem right.
Right. I have one of those lots. I bought 5 acres from my grandmother,
And it's 6% smaller.
but the road was built on my property. So,
You know, it all makes sense until you get to that 15-year thing.
Yeah,
You wanna take that out?
No, we want to specify a shorter time,
yeah, I think we should specify,
2 years max.
I like that the road shall be finished. I like when you say, you know, you shall do something. I'm
2
all,
years?
I think 2 years is,
We got 3?
I say 2 years.
I'd say.
you're gonna give 2 years?
I would.
We're generous.
You're generous people, all right.
Gives a little cushion time, I think.
Okay.
I don't know, what would be your reason to go shorter than 2 years?
I would hate to see a developer come in, develop something, take a bunch of cream off, take bankruptcy,
Hmm.
and leave 2 years down the road and go, it's not my problem.
You know, I wonder if we should have a bond.
I would be supportive of a bond for it.
Give the city some protection.
Mhm.
That's a good idea.
Okay,
We
2
wanna
years
go-
with a bond.
Or a bond.
2 years or a
I
bond.
would say 12 months or a bond.
Okay, help me out. What is it, if they choose the bond option, what does that mean?
If they choose the bond option and they take bankruptcy and go away, the city gets the money from the bond to build the road,
You think the bond is gonna be big enough to cover that road?
only if we require it.
Do we need to specify that amount here? Inflation the way it is?
Yeah. Bonds are your best protection, they're not perfect. Because you'll call one someday and you won't have enough Or if prices go down, you may have more money than you need.
Prices are
than
never
what you
going
do with the
down,
excess.
ever again.
I mean, it's just your best guess, it's the best protection you can come up with. Either build it or bond for it.
Or don't ask for the 6% reduction.
Or don't get a 6% reduction.
I mean, it'll be up to a developer whether they wanted to do it or not. But if they ask for the 6% reduction, they have to build it within, I'm gonna say 12 months or put a bond to have it built.
Okay.
So let me do.
I didn't realize it
More
only-
globally, do you want to even give a 6% reduction for a road? I mean, they gotta plan out their subdivision with appropriate lots and roads. I mean,
I don't know as I'm against giving them 6% for collector roads.
I'm okay for 0.94 acre lots.
Now, when they sell those lots to the buyers that are with that 6% reduction, they may not qualify for some of the other things, but once again, that's up to them.
So we decide 12 months or a bond?
Yeah.
I would say 12 months or a bond.
Yeah.
12 months or a bond.
So I'll return to my question. If we're specifying a bond, do we need to specify an amount?
an appropriate bond.
An appropriate bond?
Yeah.
That's our amount. Okay, great.
Because that amount will change depending on the length of road. If it's at today, 10 years from now, the amount will always change, so an appropriate bond would cover that.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on in 15.
Well, I don't wanna skip
Oh.
anything on John's list, cause he might have some of my items. Okay.
Oh, we're gonna get to your stuff.
What do you say, John? Are you still running this?
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
just trying to
we'll,
catch
we'll
up.
wait for you then.
Thank goodness for the internet, right? Why?
Best and worst thing that ever happened to civilization.
Some people are still doing dial-up.
I know, some people still have a phone that like, they pick it up and it ring, like, what do they call that, a dial tone?
Have you seen Matt's, telephone booth he put in from England?
Who?
Matt, Planning Commission?
Oh, no.
That works and everything.
Yeah, he would do that.
From England. Oh, it's crazy. Thing weighs 1,500 pounds.
Where did he put it?
In his front yard.
So you're saying if all the cell phones go out,
We've got a
I can go
telephone
run
booth
over to his house.
from London.
I don't even have to knock on the door. I just go right in the front yard.
Put a quarter in.
Oh, I gotta get a quarter.
That's
So
the way those.
Craig, what is your issue with table 15.5.3?
The top part of the table is missing the RR5 and the RR10 line.
Where's that at?
Table 15.5-3.1.
What'd you say it's missing?
So the 5 and 10 columns are removed. I just assumed that was on purpose,
Like they were the same as the one, that's why they were removed?
Well, I think they should be the same as the one, but they aren't there, and if they're not on a table, they don't exist. When you say, go to a table to
Your
find
5
something,
acre lot still exists.
but my use might not, if the table doesn't say so.
Let us know when you get there, John.
Okay, so I'm there, and the concern was RR5 and RR10 are gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the table, and just the top part of the table,
And it's only pages 7 and 8 that they're missing from. They pick back
Up on 8.
Yeah. These tables really got.
We could ask Jen to fix it.
Fix that.
Craig, is there any reason why the 5s and 10s would not mirror the 1 on
I,
all these items?
I think they would mirror the ones on all of those.
So,
the conditional permitted
The same as, yeah. I say, I don't know when things got transferred over, why that part of the table disappeared, but I hate computers and they do that kind of thing to me. Every time I try, and then I gotta have
if
someone fix
if
it.
a word table screws up on me, I throw it out and start over. I can't fix them.
Okay, so you know what to do on that?
Yeah, let's make sure someone has a note to do that.
Just mirror it over from RR1. Yeah, pages 15-7 and 15-8. For substantive things, we are getting close to some things. I have a lot of things in 15.5.3.1. John, when you're ready, we'll go through alphabetically.
Okay.
Ready?
So you're 15.5.3.1.
Yep, starting with K. For the life of me, I can't imagine why a fruit or vegetable stand requires a conditional use permit when compared to other businesses. What makes a fruit or vegetable stand so much different than someone cutting hair or
Selling food, maybe?
being a,
Okay, so you're in K? Is that
Yeah.
where you are?
yep.
Yep.
It's all conditional. Like we're,
Like cutting trees, forestry is permitted, but a fruit stand is a conditional use.
Right.
You're starting to wonder why.
them fruits might have a bug on them or something. That makes them dangerous, and they should go through the planning commission before getting their
Well,
permit.
this isn't a planning commission level, it's administrative level, but yeah, I could let a fruit and vegetable stand be a permitted use.
Okay, that's 2 votes for permitted use. 3 and 4 and 5. All right, so 15.5.1,
Those are all Ps.
Yep.
K is all P, yeah, K, all Ps. All right, I do have L, household pets, permitted. Oh, and the dogs as household pets are 3. I remember having a meeting and discussing at length the number of dogs we allowed in Erda, and for the life of me, I cannot remember if the number was 3 or 4.
I think it was 3, wasn't it? And you were mad because we had 4.
Yeah. I don't know if it was at length, but yes, we did talk about it.
So this is in separate, different lot sizes?
Yes. So this over
They're all
here
3.
is NU 40 and A20.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
rural residential over here.
Everyone rule, just regardless of the lot size, it's all 3. For some reason, I think it was a temporary land use ordinance we had in front of us, and we discussed it and decided on 4, unless they were hound dogs.
Well, I thought it was
Maybe that
3,
amount.
3 because Kel was mad because he had 4.
Maybe that was too. Maybe
it
that was it. And
Uh,
I don't have a dog in the fight. I will never own more than 2 dogs in my entire life, but
That's a good idea.
someone might want to. So anyway, I thought we'd bring it up and discuss it.
So it looks like, if I'm looking at this right, you can have 3. Remind me
So
what
this
these
is
are.
RR1, RR5, or R10.
So
Rural
you have-
residential is
If you have-
3,
If you have 1 acre, you can have 3.
yes,
If you have 5, you can only have 3.
right, for household pets. But if you're on A20, you can have 5.
It seems like a lot of dogs on 1 acre. I know people have dogs. And they love to have dogs. So,
Isn't there somewhere it says after you have so many, you gotta have a kennel?
Well,
Right.
so what, that's exactly what this is saying
This-
is
yeah.
with the fourth dog, you need a kennel license.
I gotta go get a kennel license.
We're working on that, right, Jen?
what if we change the RR5 to 4?
Yeah, what if we did 3, 4, and 5?
There you go. There you go.
What if we did 3, 4, and 4? Because you already got 5 on the other side.
5 what?
On the MU20s.
Oh, okay.
A20s and MU40s are 5.
3, 4, 5.
I'm okay with any number. Like I
Okay
said,
with any number?
doesn't,
3, 4,
doesn't
5.
affect
That work
me.
for you, Ken?
Oh, it's 3, 4, 4.
For me.
3, 4, 4, yeah. 3, 4, 4, but 5.
So RR5 and RR.
3, 3, 4, 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I have an M. Okay, yeah, okay. Now here's where I'm gonna stir up some feelings on from some dog haters. So it says, in order to apply for a kennel license, you gotta have a minimum of a lot of 4.7 acres. And I just wanted to humbly suggest making that 0.7 acres. That a 1 acre lot owner could apply for a kennel license.
I would vote against that.
Me too. And that seems like a lot for a 1 acre.
Okay.
What if they're like chihuahuas?
Yeah.
Or
They
chihuahuas?
still yip.
That's true. I mean, the barking, yeah.
Yeah, 4 chihuahuas would be worse. Just seem to have hound dogs.
My point is, I know
Like
there
a
are some on this
peacock.
council that are just in love with conditional use permits, and I'm not.
They're a good tool.
But this is a conditional use type permit. And if you were on a 1 acre lot and you want a kennel license, you're going through the process of notifying your neighbors and giving them a chance to object.
But the
You're-
problem you're gonna have with that is if you have a 1 acre lot, I don't know if you can 150 feet away from that.
You can't.
Yeah, so
You can't.
Yeah,
you'd have to change that too.
you have to change the dog.
Mhm.
I'm probably in favor of not having a kennel on 1 acre.
Yeah, me too.
I couldn't support kennel licenses on 1 acre.
Okay. You know, there are a lot of 1 acre people in Erda with kennels and
Already.
nobody
Kennel
knows.
licenses.
There's a lot of people with 20 unlicensed vehicles on their property.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh,
Okay, okay, 15531 T, and if I'm skipping over anybody else's stuff, stop me, but T is where I'm at.
Okay. You want 15,
Animal housing,
Yep,
15.5 what?
the same table, letter T. I would be in favor of removing the word temporary and removing the time period, or adjusting the time period. This is the conditional use permit that allows you to apply for 50% animal increase. And again, it's a conditional use thing where your neighbors are involved. If your neighbors come and they're okay with it, let them do it. And then it also says, acknowledgement by the property owner that the zoning administrator and that should say city. So John, in point 4, city, it says county, city may revoke or reduce the increased animal use. In other words, it's extended freedom. You're gonna, and really for freedom to exist, you shouldn't have to apply in the first place. But you can apply to have 50% more animals. You go and ask all your neighbors in an official capacity, in an official way, if they approve. They're given ample time to object. And if they don't, you get your 50% increase. And then if they go,
That's not the way conditional use permits work, though.
if they go and complain to the city can revoke it immediately anyway. So I don't see any reason why.
Yeah, that's not the way conditional use permits work. A conditional use is a use that's allowable in that area with reasonable conditions put on it. It's pretty hard to deny a conditional use permit if you can come up with reasonable conditions. Which,
But those conditions could be, you don't get 50%, you get 25%. Or you get one more animal. And your neighbors are involved and notified.
They're notified, but they really don't have much, it's mostly public clamor.
yeah, they can come, in the perfect world, they come and suggest a condition, a reasonable condition that will make it lessen the effect where it's okay. In the real world, that's not how it works. They come say, you can't let them do that. Well, if they meet the conditions, then you almost have to. Unless you can come up with a reason.
What was the reason for that? That brings back the memory of the pig in Stockton. Remember they
Yeah,
wanted to increase that or do something.
yeah, they had potbelly pigs and they wanted to increase them and, well, they're just potbelly pigs, they're not normal pigs. Well, it's still a 300-pound pig wandering through the neighborhood.
They didn't get the permit.
It's not easy to deny a conditional use permit. And
So how does it make any sense if someone has a legitimate need for the 50% increase, that they gotta redo this process every 6 months?
well, this is for temporary, and so
We don't
if,
have a permanent one, is my
no,
point.
we don't have a permanent one that fits this particular, definition. So if my brother is moving and he needs somewhere to put some extra horses, but I'm already at my limit, I can come, and this is an administrative one, so I could go to Jake and say, Jake, I want a temporary,
For 7 horses.
so I can have store these extra 3 horses while my brother moves, and then he can take them. And it's a 6-month deal where it is temporary. And then it goes away. You can get an extension. If you have an automatic increase of 50%, then why did you have the ordinance limiting it in the first place? If you're just automatically gonna give them a 50% increase.
Well, that was kind of my point, is it's not automatic, you gotta go through all kinds of red tape
So-
to get it.
Well,
Yes.
it's a little red tape, but it's,
What you're saying is you wanna take the 6 months away and make this permanent condition.
Or make it 2 years or 12 months, or, I don't know.
I'd be in favor of 2 years.
But if you're gonna do that, you wanna go back and change the underlying requirements for animals, because if it's permanent, it's permanent.
And this is supposed to be a temporary deal. To me, 2 years isn't temporary, in my opinion.
Okay, well, leave it as is, just a suggestion.
Yeah. I think 6 months is not too bad a deal if they need to renew it. If Scott wants to leave his horses at your house for 9 months instead of 6,
yeah.
apply for it again.
And the way this is, it's an administrative conditional, so you don't have to go to the planning commission, you don't have to go through those hoops.
Just gotta walk in and say,
You gotta walk in, fill out the paper.
this is the reason.
Yeah. And then the zoning administrator, who right now is Ensign, makes that decision. So,
So we got 3 to save it, keep it.
He can say no just because what he ate for breakfast wasn't agreeing with it. That's the main part that I don't like about it. I don't know.
well, then they can appeal it, if he does.
We're talking lengths most people won't go to. Most people won't even apply for the conditional use permit.
Well, it creates a mechanism, somebody that wants to
Yeah,
Yeah.
apply.
yep.
Okay, that's all I have on 15.5.3.1. I do have stuff on 15.5.3.2. I don't want to go out of order if you've got other things, John. I also have some things in chapter 4.
Chapter 4,
Yeah, we never talked about chapter 4.
Half an hour on the table, weren't we just?
we were on the table in chapter 4.
Oh, you're right, we were. Yeah, I want to go back to chapter 4 at some point.
We'll circle back there, maybe.
Okay, so we're back to 4.
Oh,
All
well, let's
right.
get through 15.
Oh, you wanna get to 15?
Yeah, let's get through 15 while we're here.
15 could take us the rest of the night. So I've got 15.5.3.2G. But if anyone has anything before that, please don't let me jump ahead.
Oh, okay. You had several of these, and they were almost all the same.
Well, there are two sections that are almost duplicates of each other. And so, yeah,
One's childcare, one's daycare.
but both of those are in two chapters or something,
Correct.
two
So
tables.
they're on two different tables.
Mhm.
But it is much the same thing, much the same wording.
Correct. Almost copied and pasted. So G, 15.3.2G, childcare residential that complies with the following conditions, all sorts of state laws and requirements, county health, nutrition requirements, state permits, everything is within written consent of the parent guardian. There are hours of the day you can operate as a child daycare facility. I don't know. I see now that it's a C1, which means it's administrative,
It is,
and that's better than a C.
that is.
But still, I would make it permitted if I had my way.
Specifically for childcare for some reason, when I was reading the state, same thing, they have this huge.
They're gonna require the city to have an administrator give a permit.
I just remember thinking it was ridiculous that they had all these additional requirements for childcare. It's just the county's way of making sure those requirements are fulfilled.
Yeah. And that's one of the problems. If something's permitted, they can do it. And if they don't follow the requirements, it doesn't really matter because it's permitted. You don't have any teeth.
Oh,
If something's
the state
conditional,
has teeth.
well, the state does on their things, but some things they don't care about. If something's conditional and they're not meeting the requirements, like parking on the road, which the state doesn't care if they park on a road. But if something's a conditional use and they're not meeting their conditions,
But they're a bit,
we can go in and say, hey, you're not meeting your conditions, either remedy the problem or
yeah, but
your conditional use can be taken.
they're a business and if they're not following business laws, we can.
Let me tell you, businesses don't follow business laws.
But the conditional use doesn't change anything.
Well, it gives a little more teeth than a little permit.
No, if someone's parking on the street, they're gonna use the same sheriff, you can use the same law to go after them. Whether
But
they
it's
have
not
a
illegal to
condition.
park on the side of the street.
It is to run a business and have people parking on the street, if we pass the law as it sits now. This conditional use doesn't say anything about parking on the street. Or maybe it does. But ours is the same. Anyway, I can see I'm outvoted. We can be busybodies if we want to, Big Brother, it's fine.
Is this the libertarian speech?
You want a libertarian speech. Anyway, if I had my way, that would be permitted.
There was,
J. Cottage industry, blah, blah, blah. That's already permitted. using our low, well, no, hold on.
This is
No.
different than a low impact.
This
Yeah,
is 10
This
employees.
is different.
Cottage industry that may be permitted to employ up to 10 employees that reside outside of the dwelling. Yeah, that's different than our low impact.
Yeah.
So what it's saying is you can apply for a conditional use permit which allows up to 10? Is that how you read
In a
that?
cottage industry, yes.
Okay.
And there was a perfect example of this in Erda. The lady has a 5-acre lot and she grows flowers on it. That's what greenhouses, grows flowers. She had to get a conditional use permit for her cottage industry, but that's one of the things in the conditional use permit. Are you gonna have semi trucks, delivery trucks coming in and out? And those were, things that they had to look at, were hours of operations. You had a lot of employees, where the parking need to be for that. I would probably wanna leave that as a conditional use also, especially up to 10 employees.
John, you can set that language to the low impact business law. Trying to figure out how to word it for up to 3 employees. Copy paste.
I had N, but N mirrors G, I think.
It does. There was one that, and maybe there's number 2 in N. Try to give you a win here. No food shall be prepared and served in the home for consumption by students.
Oh yeah, that's crap. Let's get rid of that.
Unless there's a state law that says otherwise, I'll give Jess a win and scratch number 2 out.
Oh, and I also have a problem with 3. It's the one adult employed, and I think I have some very good reasons why that should be more than one.
So number 2 disappears.
Number 2 and number 3 disappear. I think Jess is right on that.
We got 3, 1, 2. We have 3?
On letter N,
Yeah.
2 and 3. But in order to clean this up, G, number 2, also needs to change.
G2 was different.
That's the one adult.
Oh. Yes.
That-
G2 needs to be removed. also.
That should mirror whatever our business ordinance has, right?
No,
right.
it should just disappear.
That makes it, or
If it's a
whatever our
conditional
business.
use permit, it'll go through the employees. It shouldn't say no more than 1. Just eliminate it.
Yeah, my point is, why would you limit how much help a daycare operation has? It doesn't make any sense. And then, so G and N, G we're moving 2, 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
And then moving on to Q. Oh, I totally got lost here.
No, Q's right. Storage, placement, keeping, locating, parking, maintaining,
15.5,
keeping of
3,
commercial
2,
construction,
Q.
military surplus, or specialized equipment.
Somehow I scrolled way down.
Not allowed in A20,
Yeah,
R1,
So-
5, or 10.
so,
Conditional on NB4.
so, you know those old deuce and a half trucks?
Yeah.
They're kind of popular hobby items. And right now, it doesn't matter what size lot you're on in Erda, you can't own one. Doesn't
Sure
make
you
any
can.
sense to me.
You just license it.
And then it becomes a vehicle?
It's a vehicle.
Okay.
This is storage, placement, keeping, locating.
So you couldn't have them unlicensed?
I think you could probably have 1 unlicensed,
Yeah,
but this is
We
for,
can
I
have
think,
up to 2 unlicensed.
okay.
But we need
All right, when I read it, I just thought, no, there are people that like military things and we shouldn't be picking on them too much. But if it has 4 wheels or 2 wheels,
if it's
license it.
licensed, you can have it.
then it just becomes a vehicle. So I'm okay with that. Unless anyone can think of any other military surplus type equipment that a hobbyist might want that wouldn't hurt anybody that,
Oh, he's gone
I want a tank.
well,
Just as I do.
This could be
it's an
anything, it doesn't have to
automobile,
be-
you could license
doesn't have
that.
to be military, it could be commercial.
Yeah, it's commercial, it's
You have a road
loaders.
grader or a front end loader, or, we
Hey.
have those things.
But if you get your business license, you can have those types of things. I know it's trying to limit the amount of junk and junkyards and that sort of thing, so. Anyway, that's all I had.
While we're talking about junk, did you clear up that thing from 810, the nuisance part and our code that's in chapter 9? Talks about unlicensed vehicles. You're gonna reference our ordinance.
Yes. But I haven't done that.
I have some things in 15.533. Two are not substantial. Oh no, one is substantial. So 15.5.3C, we just need to add a O.
Oh, yep.
Okay. And then E, which is bed and breakfast. It's a conditional. What do you call it? Administrative conditional.
Mm-hmm.
This is bed and breakfast. This is Airbnb permitted. This would be my
What
vote.
table you on?
15.5.3.3E. It's on page 19. I don't think you ought to have to go get special permission to run an Airbnb in your home or ADU.
So this is referring to in your own home?
Yeah,
this is
a
saying-
bed and breakfast.
What's that saying is that the resident has to reside there. It can't be like
Yeah, I think
all by
there,
itself.
was there a separate chapter for like an Airbnb?
There is, I can't
I
remember.
thought there was.
Oh, what I saw was 4-24, commercial renting.
Yeah, like I said, I want to go back to chapter 4 eventually, but
We'll get there.
anyway, I think C1 should be P.
A bed and breakfast should just be a permitted use. Huh?
You bet.
Without even the owner living there?
Oh, this has
Well,
the owner
it's
living
saying
there.
the owner would have to live there in order for it to be permitted.
And they have to have a business license. So it's not like they're doing it without us knowing about it. It's just, they can't be told no by somebody who happens to be cranky that day.
I get cranky some days.
I know.
Okay, there's one. You got two? Got three?
Okay, all right, yeah.
Okay, so it's P.
Thank you. And then, all right. Craig, I don't know if you will recall this phone call, but this is one that maybe we don't want to open this can of worms tonight.
Open.
But if all it is a letter in a
Ken's got
box,
nowhere to go.
I say we open the can.
What table are we on?
K, same table, letter K.
Letter K.
And my note says,
Two-family dwellings?
yeah, and I say, right now it's a dash, meaning you can't do it. I would suggest, and maybe this isn't the place to do it, but we make this permitted with the stipulation if converted from a legal ADU.
So the ADU becomes a two-family dwelling.
Yeah.
Well,
So
a
that
duplex
goes
would have to be an
against our
internal
code.
ADU.
So this is a basement or a mother-in-law apartment. And our ordinance that was recommended to us basically says that. It's just that this, chart
But we gotta
doesn't
go back and fix
reflect
that
that.
ordinance. The state made perfectly clear that,
and I'm saying this might be part of that fix. So we're saying it's permitted if it started out as an ADU.
State made what clear?
an ADU, the owner has to be a resident.
I thought that's
It's-
what we had too.
It's not while they live there, but after they move. So what we need to do is come up with a a clarification of what it becomes after the primary resident moves and doesn't sell. It's no longer, we can't call it an ADU anymore. It now becomes a duplex.
Well, a duplex has to be connected.
We're talking internal ADUs. So I'd be in favor of, however you're gonna do it, making duplexes legal as long as they started out as a legal ADU.
I think I'd be in favor of leaving this as it is today and sending that back to planning. Let them hash through it and send a recommendation to us.
Another one past the ADU thing, we discussed it, when somebody moves out, we allow it to become
Yep.
at that point.
But the problem is we can't call it an ADU anymore. We need to come up with verbiage for that.
So wouldn't that just create an avenue?
To build duplexes.
Yeah.
You gotta build them one at a time and you gotta live there for a year, but yeah.
And you don't think that'll be problematic down the road?
No.
What do you think, John?
I'd send it back to the planning commission for consideration.
So let it be written, so.
I've got an item in 15.536, unless anybody has anything in between. Letter E, 2,
E2.
PPP.
E2,
E2, PPP.
E Roman numeral two?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Right now it's CPP.
What one is that? That's not the wind driven, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
wind driven under
It's got a C right there.
5,900 volts. Volt.
So you want
Amps.
that C?
The conditional one is on a 1 acre.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we gotta put a one, make 1 mil on the 1 acre.
and we're talking
These are small ones.
tiny. The ones you'd put on your boat to
These-
like
these
a
are little
marine.
ones that don't work. Well, someone told me, I asked Ron Robinson, when they put those ones
Under
in.
5 point.
Yeah. He says, do they work good? He says, no, but they make great yard ornaments.
It's pretty
Um,
much several in your neighborhood.
yeah, there are several down there. I would be fine, permitted,
All the way across?
permitted all the way across, yes.
We got 3 for that.
Yeah. Got 5.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's all I have in chapter 15. I have a couple items in 4 and 10.
I've got one,
Okay,
if that's okay. So maximum large animals allowed in a 5 acre lot is 20, but yet the way the ordinance is wrote, it should be 22.
I have, several things in 15.5.4 to talk about.
Which one are you on, Cal?
15.5.
Number D. And number D, I had major problems with, and the reason is, it says the maximum number of large animal units is 20 regardless of lot size. If you've got a 40-acre lot,
Well, yeah, but I thought.
this
We
is,
said it
this
was-
is how it came out of planning.
Was
Yes.
6,
I was there.
was 6 for
You were
the
there.
first.
I was there, and
then
they
4
did
for
their,
every acre after that.
yeah,
This is for residential.
What she's saying is if you have a 40-acre lot that's an RR5, you're limited to 20.
you're limited to 20, and I can't support that.
We never even considered a lot that was that big.
Well, I thought it,
We did consider 10-acre lots and we still limited them to 20.
I thought it explained pretty much that 1 acre you got 6 and then 4 for every acre.
It does, and that's why I say line D,
Get rid of D.
yeah, we need to get rid of line D, because we already defined how many animals you should be able to have per acre. So let's not cap it.
Is that a vote to get rid of D?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 2 votes to get rid of D. Scott?
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. We're just gonna strike D.
For what it's worth, the planning commission was 4-3 on D, so it was close anyways.
Yeah.
And I believe that also takes care of your concern.
Yep, it does.
Okay, what else?
A, B, C are all good. So some of the way this came out, and it's not on a table, because I like tables.
You
The
don't like
way,
bacon.
the way this is written, that you can have on 1 acre, 6 large animals, and you can also have 32 small animal units, or 2 animal units of small ones, which were 15, which is basically another animal. It'll give you 8 animal units on that on 1 acre. We're talking too many. You can have 4 sheep, 4 horses, a cow, and 15 turkeys and 15 chickens
As
on
long as
1
there's no-
acre.
As long as there's no peacocks, that's.
Peacocks are
You
no
can have a lot
small
of
animal,
peacocks.
yeah.
You can have 15 peacocks, 15
Not for
turkeys,
very
15
long.
peacocks.
So they're all gone. Yeah.
I mean, I was a big supporter of moving 6 large animals on 1 acre, on the first acre. But I think it should still be 6 animal units on that first acre, and not an additional 2 animal units of small animals.
Like so many goats equals 1 large and stuff. like
Yeah.
that.
The reason the planning commission passed it like this is because if there are people who have 6 horses on the acre.
I don't think they should be excluded from having a chicken.
Exactly.
I don't think they should either, but maybe they should have, somewhere they gotta make a choice. If you wanna have your chicken coop, maybe you have 5 horses. Because at some point in time, you're limiting there was a lady that had 11 horses on 1 acre. And she had one for her and her kids and her grandkids. And she says, which grandkid are you gonna tell doesn't get a horse? I want you guys to come tell one of my grandkids they don't get a horse. What happens when you get another grandkid? Well, then you get another horse. Eventually, you're gonna have 30 horses on that 1 acre. Somewhere there has to be a line drawn. And I still say it should be drawn at 6 animal units on on that first acre.
But isn't that what you just took out in D, the max?
Well, I
No,
took,
we're talking about 1 acre lots.
this is for the first 1 acre lot, where they've added,
Okay, you can have 6 animals.
6
Yes, sir.
animals plus
you can have
some small animals.
six animal units, plus an additional 2 animal units of small animals. And like I say, I think
What would one small animal unit be?
15. So an animal unit of small animals was 15 of them.
Could we go 6 large animals and 4 chickens, something like that?
Well, 4 chickens.
4 chickens isn't enough.
I'm fine letting them use their unit however they want, but I think we should cap it at 6 animal units on that 1 acre.
Big, small.
Be it big, small, whatever. And if they have 2 acres, then they get 10 animal units, and they can pick and choose however they want. But I would,
That sounds reasonable to me.
Especially on
I
a
can't,
1 acre lot.
I think you're,
I can't envision a 1 acre lot with a house and 6 horses and
A little chicken.
how many chickens?
30.
And- Yeah,
30's not a small chicken coop.
I can't
And
even
I say
envision
you,
that.
you fix the 30.
That's what I'd be in favor
But
of. is-
enough
is someone had
chickens.
4 chickens
Well,
and 6 horses.
let them have what they want. I mean, this says you can only have 30 small animals. Give them the flex, if they want 30 chickens, fine, let them have the 30 chickens,
But they only had 5 horses.
but they can only have 5 horses.
4
4 horses, or 3 horses and a cow, or 2 horses and some sheep and a
Thought
cow.
it
And
was 6 for 1
let them do that however they want, but
15 chickens counts for 1, is what he's proposing counts as 1.
1 large animal.
And our intent with that was not our intent, what we did, the way it was set was not the other.
Yeah. There was a lot of discussion about how to do it. When have we overloaded it? When have we limited someone's rights?
But it's all on 1 acre.
I'd vote to
This
keep it as is.
I think that's
just one.
too many on 1 acre. I think it should
Yeah,
be
that sounds too crowded to me.
6 animal units and let them pick how the animal units, however they want them to be.
So I have friends who have 6 horses, and I've been to their house, and they have chickens running around, and once you have 6 horses, chickens are nothing. Right? You got 12 chicken runners, you don't notice them.
I agree, there's people that,
The horses are off in a stable, the chickens are usually in a coop.
That's
The problem
becoming
is-
unpopular though.
the problem is it doesn't work that way
Free-range chickens.
in every, I know
In
people who
every
have
backyard, that's
a
true.
dozen horses on less than an acre and it's fantastic. It's not the way it is at my house, and it's not the way it is at most houses. I mean, me and Scott went to a house, 3 acres, and they had 12 horses there, and the majority of those horses are on 1 acre, and there was not a horse biscuit out of place. And they go in and they clean the manure every day,
Well, that's
and when the
when it comes
pile,
to animal husbandry more than it is.
I mean-
That's the
Quantity.
hardest part of that ordinance is, you know,
Yeah,
there's
we-
a person, but then, you know, you gotta have them. It's just.
I can't build an ordinance around what that person does, because not everyone does what that person will do.
We've beat this horse pretty hard over the last 6 months, so I say we vote on it and whatever it is, it is.
People seem happy at meetings, in your opinion, with this.
This was, for the planning commission, an excellent compromise. There were people on both sides, but by the time we got it passed to where it is now, it was 7-0. Everybody won.
I'll go with the 6 Lord.
I still say 6 animal units for the first acres, enough, and then 4 every,
Sorry,
Acre
Terry,
after.
where are you at?
6.
I agree with Terry.
That-
If they
that's
have
not-
6 large, are they allowed to have chickens?
Yeah, 6 horses can
No,
have
just the
no,
6
we're
Lord.
gonna say 15 small animals is an animal unit. And there, you get 6 animal
6
units.
animal units.
You understand that, John?
I think I've lost.
Okay.
I'll help you through it.
Are there 3 votes? Like,
Yes.
two?
So you're at the table, you're not,
We're on 15.5-4. It's really not a table. Well, there's a table underneath it.
All we're gonna do, all they're asking to do is eliminate number E, or letter E. So it says it shall not count against a large animal unit, so they're saying it will count.
It will,
Yeah,
it will
there you
count
go.
against it, yep.
So we're gonna strike D and E.
Well, we'll only strike the first sentence. The aggregate number of small animals is
Oh, yeah.
30 per species. Let's
so
see.
on D, you want the first sentence gone.
On E, we
Well,
want the
let's see,
first
the
sentence
aggregate-
gone.
Well, E's only got one.
E has
Yeah.
2 sentences.
Yeah, just strike E.
No, E has your aggregate number.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
we need that.
we need that.
We're striking all of D,
All of D.
and we're striking the
sentence
first
is-
sentence in E.
Okay, so you have something different than I have. With my D reads, small animals, chicken, rabbits, turkeys, and other fowl shall not count against the large animal unit numbers listed.
You already removed D, and now you're talking about the new D, which is the old E.
Yeah, you've gone so far ahead of us.
So yes, we're gonna remove the first sentence in the new D.
Probably should leave that definition in there, the parentheses.
Which would also allow or remove,
Okay, so the new D is the aggregate number of small animals is 30 per species regardless of lot size, right?
Yep.
Then the new E is 30 small animals shall be allowed on the first acre.
Yep.
Yep.
And then F, 15
Well-
small animals shall be allowed for each additional acre.
do we wanna do that or not? That would allow someone on 5-acre lot to have 90.
Aggregate number
Small
of
animals.
small animals is 30 per species regardless of lot size.
So Craig's right, they could have 90 animals, but they could have 90 chickens.
Right.
They could have 30 chickens, 30 rabbits, 30 turkeys. but they couldn't
Oh,
have 90
Because it's
chickens.
per species.
Yeah.
So
Of course,
you fix that by changing it to per type. I don't know.
No, we could leave that. If it becomes a problem, I guess we change it, but. There could be a lot of small animals, but if someone had 30 chickens and they wanted to have some turkeys, and they wanted to have some rabbits, let them, I guess.
Rabbits are the only one I hate. When those things get out, they're destructive, surprisingly.
But they don't make any
They
noise.
eat your whole garden.
John,
Okay.
One of the unintended consequences, when we took out the first part of what you now have as B, we eliminated how we define small animals. When you said chickens, rabbits, turkeys, and other fowl.
What do I need to do?
Just put that parenthesis back in after somewhere else where it says small animals. Like maybe the aggregate number of small animals, and then add that parentheses, chicken, rabbits, turkeys, and other fowl.
What if you just took out the word not out of that? Or it says it shall not count
That would
against the
work.
animal units, you just take out the word not, so it shall count against.
I had the same thought with after he hit the loop, so I tried that back then. That would work really well.
You can undo.
All right, while we're fighting over animals, before we get back to Jess's, chapter 4, let's move to chapter 16:4-4. 16:4-4-4. Just a go.
So Corey, yes, you need help with other kind of stuff you want?
Yeah.
No, I just close that one.
So the aggregate number of small animals for chickens, turkeys, rabbits.
And other fowl. Good. Thank you.
Now, what one you on, Craig?
16-4-4, where it talks about the farm animal units per acre. This mirrors very much what we just went through, so it'll have to be changed to match it.
What you on again?
16-4-4. Other than, trying to remember where it was at now. It talked about animals in a R121 zone. Maybe it doesn't. I know that was in there somewhere.
So you want 16:4-4 to be the same as we just made, the changes above?
Yeah, I mean, and it references 15. Where the heck was that?
You're looking at number C, Craig, 1C.
Yeah, C needs to change there, where it says it shouldn't count against the small animal unit number.
I have to move where I can have some power.
So that's saying that Salem was half acre?
Yeah, I'm looking at a different C than you are. Craig, 16.4.4, 1C, it's talking about the half acre.
This is minimum allowed half acre. That's what we should do that.
The rural residential zone, yeah. Maybe it was there. I read enough of this, I got a little brain dead a couple times.
What are you looking for?
I thought there was a, different zone what was allowed. I thought there was an R121 zone that allowed for large farm animals.
So the closest you got there is in the table, 15.5.4.1. Gives some examples at the top of the table, and it does talk about half acre parcel.
Maybe it was somewhere else, but I think if you have a R121 zone, there should be no farm animals allowed in it. Half acre lots. But it's a residential, it's no longer rural residential, it becomes a residential. We don't have any of that in Erda right now. If someone goes and changes see it. Don't see it.
R121 should have, chickens. Is that a farm animal?
It says large farm.
What was the question on farm?
R121 should be able to have chickens.
Yes. I think so,
Is that a farm animal?
but not large.
Yeah. No cows. Well, who am I to say? Let them have
The
cows.
reason, one of the arguments I was making was, my parents are on a half an acre lot, which is why we put it in the half acre, like, I live in here, and I grew up also in high school with two horses on a 1 acre, half acre lot.
We have half acre lots, and they're in an RR1 zone. And on those half acre lots in an RR1 zone, they're allowed to have large animals. If someone comes in and rezones something for a half acre residential area, then if you buy it, not rural residential, if you buy in that area, you should know that you can't have a large animal. I'm fine
It's not
with
a horse
rabbits and
property.
chickens. And I don't see what I thought, I saw in there, yeah, if you have a half acre parcel, then in an RR1 zone, you should have every right of everyone else in an RR1 zone. Yeah, yeah, he's gonna make this match chapter 15.
So when you were talking about where you grew up, Corey, was that, you happen to know if that was,
That's all half acre lots.
is it rural, half acre lots, or is it?
I'm not sure how South Jordan zoning is, if they have rural versus rural residential. And I mean, it was sold as first property on half acre lots. And there was probably a third of the residents in that neighborhood of 40 to 50 houses that had at least one horse, and some of them had up to 3.
Where did you ride?
There was a horse stable about a quarter mile, half mile from the house. We ride down there and ride. There was fields that we go out and close by. Not any, yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, the only other changes I had, I sent to John, and they were all just clerical.
Okay.
My changes in 16.4 are the exact changes we wanted in 15, because it's just a mirror of the same
Yeah,
table
it's just a mirror.
Yeah, I made a note to make it mirror.
in 16.
16.4.4.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're talking about childcare workers and the,
Oh, no, I thought we were talking about farm animals.
no, we're moving back to 16.4 3.2 E,
16.4.3.
2E. And it's the same table that we dealt with in 15. And now I realize that it's not rural residential, it's regular residential. Still,
Okay, so you're in K of,
E, not K, E.
you're in table 16.4.3.2.
3.2 E. And so we
Okay,
removed 2. I think we should do the same.
we removed, yeah, number 2.
Yeah. Yeah, these tables should mirror the other ones.
Can we just say that, or do you want to make the changes right now?
We just catch up there.
Okay. So E is removed 2 and K likewise is removed 2. Remove 2 and 3. If we're making it the same.
Okay, E, remove
2,
2. Okay,
K remove 2 and 3. I have issues in chapters 4 and 10, but I don't want to step on anybody's toes if they've got something else in 16 or want to move on to something else.
We're think we gotta get this done because we need to adopt it next week.
Yeah, we can spend another hour on it next week if we need to, but.
What do you have for?
Okay, chapter 4.
Hang on, I can't get my computer to even respond. Okay.
Let me know when you're ready, Joe.
Okay, so where do you wanna go?
Let's go back to 4, and then the problem I have in 10 references chapter 4. So let's go to chapter 10. Mhm.
Oh,
Just-
I guess I remember your note on this.
Something that was confusing to me. I'm not quite remembering what it is. So 10-2 references chapter 4-26. There is no 426. Maybe it should be 425 that it means. And 425 is obviously the last section in chapter 4. Temporary residences for emergency construction or repair. And it talks about mobile homes there. So it makes sense to me that it's talking about 425. So we just need to change it from 26 to 25.
Okay, so you're in chapter what, 10?
Chapter 10, section 2,
Okay.
talking about mobile homes.
425 instead of 426.
Yep.
Okay, done.
And while we're in chapter 4, okay, when you get there,
Okay, I'm in 4.
4-4N. If the temporary
Yeah, okay.
dwelling is an existing structure and it meets the requirements of Erda's land use table, a conditional use permit may be issued. So what was my note here? Under no circumstances shall a mobile home or manufactured home or recreational vehicle be allowed to become an accessory housing unit, an ADU. And I thought we could remove mobile/manufactured home. Those can be ADUs in Erda. What do we call those? External ADUs? Is that the word?
Just take out manufactured homes.
Manufactured, mobile and manufactured homes.
So
That's my suggestion.
So when it says manufactured home, would that include a home that's brought in sections, it's manufactured somewhere else, it's brought in sections? put on-
But they still have to follow all the manufactured home rules that we have, which includes a masonry foundation.
I could certainly meet just halfway and remove manufactured home.
Mobile homes are double wides. I drove past Pine Canyon, someone's got a 3-car garage on their double wide. And it looks, for an ADU, it'd be fine.
But it's still gotta be on a foundation.
It's gotta comply with all the other requirements.
So you want the whole sentence removed?
No, we're gonna keep the sentence. We're just trying to decide what we get to remove out of it. But I think we're all in agreement that we can remove manufactured homes, but maybe not mobile homes.
Manufactured homes, 3, 1, 2,
Manufactured homes should be removed,
okay.
So we need to discuss mobile homes a little further, sounds like.
How about a recreational vehicle?
No, we're gonna leave that. I don't want any recreational vehicle ADUs,
Yeah,
unless anybody else wants one.
no, camp trailers should not be turned into ADUs.
If it's on a masonry foundation, we can talk about it.
We have had those kind of ADUs in there before.
I know one.
How do you guys feel about
I
mobile
know at
homes?
least one.
I'm good with that. I've seen some nice ones, and it's like an animal deal, I've seen some nice ones, and I've seen some bad ones. I've seen some stick-built houses that are absolutely horrible. Sure, it's mobile homes.
Okay, that's 2 nods for mobile homes. Can I get a third?
To take out mobile homes.
Mhm. Allowing, allowing,
Allow a mobile home to be an ADU.
Oh, okay. No, I don't. Permanent ADU.
here's the thing. We allow mobile homes on foundational structures to be homes in Erda. Why couldn't it be a secondary home?
So you're saying it's not mobile anymore because it's
Mm-hmm.
on a foundation?
Yeah,
Well, then
it's
not
still a mobile home.
No, it's not. 'Cause it's on a foundation.
Yeah, but my point is,
You can't move it.
we don't allow mobile homes anyway, unless they're on a foundation.
Yeah, that ought to be specified somewhere in there, that ought to be clarified a little bit. Sure, I think you can put a mobile home on a foundation.
Call it an ADU. Okay, that's 3
Problem is,
votes.
you're-
Okay, so take out mobile home?
I say you could have someone buy a 1960 mobile home, pull it in, put a walk underneath it. There's the ADU.
Not 1 block.
One on each corner.
It'll
My-
fall in, it'll be close.
My
to
point
the
is,
ground.
the same mobile home we're gonna allow become someone's primary residence, we're gonna allow to be an ADU, and it just makes sense to me.
Yeah, if it's got
If it meets all the other
a
requirements.
cement foundation, not just unblocked. Cement foundation.
You got 3, there you go.
Okay,
What do you think, Eric? On cement foundation, not blocked, but it says,
Whatever the mobile home requirements are, I don't remember what they are. It's a real foundation, and I do believe Ensign Engineering is involved in that process. I would skip all the way to 422 unless somebody else has something in between. And my deal with 422, I might get corrected by somebody closer to the animal community than me, but it seems to exclude goats.
Good reason.
If that's your position, you can't have a goat in Erda without a conditional use permit, period.
Nor should you.
why do you hate peacocks?
Though,
If you feel strongly about a goat, put a goat in there.
yeah,
We're talking about 4-20.
if you're gonna allow mink, you might as well allow goats. It's possible that cattle means anything with hooves, but it also specifies sheep, and
How
so
about you replace mink with,
I'm okay with that.
because mink are mean little vicious things, and you might need a conditional use permit for them. I've got stars to prove it.
They're related to badgers.
okay, so we got 3 votes to remove mink and replace it with goats. 1, 2,
I'm sorry if I offended anybody who owns minks. Come talk to us, we'll change it back. I would go to 424, unless anybody has anything.
We were
That
done,
one's
Jessica got to you, he wanted to talk about it.
later.
Yeah.
forget where that is, but we need to get there.
There's no foundation. We have no
No.
foundation, so we have no direction.
I don't have that one. Yeah. I maybe added that to a different email. We need to find it. Give that to me in a little. Okay, 424, Airbnbs. Remove residential and multi-use from the paragraph. So it shall be deemed a commercial use and unlawful to rent or lease any dwelling or portion thereof within any residential, agricultural, or multi-use zoning district for lodging or accommodation purposes for a period of less than 30 days, except as specifically allowed in the zoning district regulations. And I would propose that we remove residential and multi-use from that paragraph, thereby allowing Airbnbs to exist in Erda.
One vote, 2, 3.
So multi-use is MU 40. If you're gonna leave agriculture in, you might as well leave multiple use in.
Can you build a home on agriculture?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's harder to build a home on MU than. You have to have-
so then strike 424 altogether. That's 2 votes,
There's
3
two.
votes.
3, 4, okay.
Thank you. All right. I had some other notes, but it must have been in the email and not in my notepad. I do too.
I have your email here. Hmm. Okay. What is 422? Oh, there was 2 parts to 422, sorry. 422. Okay, I would suggest that we exempt corner lots from the 40-foot street requirement.
Because they have streets on 2 sides.
They have streets on 2 sides. It's pretty hard to squeeze a corral in there. There's a guy in Corey's neighborhood very much in violation of this. And it's just, you drive past it and it just makes sense. It doesn't look like it should be any sort of infraction. Correct. And I tested my other neighbor who has a pipe fence and a corral, and I stepped it off from the edge of the road, and it was exactly 40 feet. And so somebody read that law and built their fence. And so it's not causing any harm on your normal lots, but on your corner lots, they should be exempted, I think. Or the 40-foot restriction should go to 16 feet or whatever the normal easement is. Well, no, you keep the easement anyways. You just provide an exemption for corner lots.
Yeah, adding language that says something like exemption may be made by the zoning administrator for corner lots.
Okay, I think the exemption should be without any administrative decision. You have a corner lot, you put your corral where you need to.
There's 1. Any more?
I'm
2.
in favor of that.
3.
3 votes.
Corner lot.
And that's no administrative decision, no conditional, no C1 assigned to that. Okay?
Okay, so what I've said is, except for a corner lot, no animals, and it just goes on. So I added
Okay.
it to the first.
Yeah, Cal?
Houses in, Brookville, where 33rd's gonna go. That road wasn't there to begin with, they have a corral built right on the fence, that road goes in,
Would you call that legal non-conforming?
Yeah, if they're there already, they're okay. But they can't build a new one. They might be able to get a variance, but.
That's all I had time to come up with.
Thank goodness.
Sorry, guys.
It's 2 hours.
I sent this to the planning commission. I wanted a list of 100 more, but I didn't get them, so, yeah.
Good on you, Corey. It's just a lack of time.
You know what?
Well, we have another week.
John and I spent, what, an hour and a half or so on the phone,
Yeah,
talking about a bunch of things in here that got put in before it came to you guys. So,
this will be always continuous and change, always in change.
It'll be changed continuously forever.
So what takes priority to our city codes and ordinances? If something's different in it than a land use, does the ordinance trump it?
I lost you. Say that again.
So we've got a land use code, and then we've got the city, call it criminal code. And sometimes the laws seem to parallel each other. And I think Terry found some areas where they were in, kind of in conflict with each other.
We talked about, there's that one in 810 that's land use, and it's a little different than the one that's in our code or whatever. In our chapter 6 or 9, our chapter 9. It's different.
The land use code, land use order, chapter 9.
So city code 9,
Code 9.
land use code.
It talks about unlicensed vehicles and goes through the whole thing. It's a little different than the 810 in the land use. But that's it. And I thought you was gonna put that to reference our ordinance and already covered all that unlicensed vehicle.
Yes, I was gonna do that.
Is that the only discrepancy you found there, Terry?
that's all we have time for. He only wanted one, he didn't want 100. He just wanted one.
It's almost 9:30, gentlemen.
We still haven't closed meeting yet? Let's close this meeting then.
So moved. Boy. Come on, man, get with it.
It has been moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Well, don't have to say it to have a little more.
May I suggest a quick break?
Oh, yeah, we shouldn't adjourn the meeting.
We should, yeah, probably should go to our closed meeting and then take a break.
That's how you
Are you
get
sure
over
about
it.
that?
That's how you get it done. Sit down.
All right, so what do we need to do? We already adjourned the meeting.
Tell me the symbols
Say what?
Cold in here.
So are you gonna accept
Oh,
those changes now
you-
that
you
they've
never
talked
brought
about it?
those up.
So we can see like a final.
Send it in.
No, they're changed.
I want to do at least another hour
That
on
we can,
this.
cause I'd like to read through it one more time, for next week as well.
Okay.
So, once you do that, I know it won't be.
Okay.
Once you get those accepted.
Holy cow.
My bladder
I
cannot
think
last.
my toes are going to fall off. Why did I wear?
It's miserable in here.
Okay, the
I'm
draft
like,
I was looking at.
he got me a
had the
drink. I'm like,
changes in
I
it.
want hot chocolate. I don't need.
Like what he, I was looking at what he said, so
Oh, okay.
what are you changing now?
I'm changing the code. Representation.
On your Word document, my Word document. Will you resend that to me?
I will.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna fix a couple of things.
That's fine.
So I'm,
Is it okay if I steal this? Do you need that?
who's?
I started looking, I don't know, that was just up there and I made notes on the back of it for me.
Nobody. Is that the guy that was here?
Maybe, nobody made a comment?
Nobody made a comment. So John, I have a couple questions. There you go, just put it out there. everyone.
What'd you say? My ride is supposed to be tall. Big tall.
I'm just gonna get up and move, so my toes do not fall off. I'm like, why did I wear these shoes? For a reason.
Can't imagine how much it costs to cool this thing.
Falls over.
All right, so what are you gonna send to me?
Well, now that you've changed a whole bunch of things, so, what I did, let me show you what
So have you got them in compare so I can see the changes?
I don't, so what I did is I just accepted all of your changes.
Okay. Then
That's all I
change-
initially did, and then I fixed the tables and I graphed on it.
Yeah.
So that when people requested it, because I've had a couple people request what we're working on.
Okay.
So I just sent it out as a draft, but like I said, any of the changes that you made, I just went through and accepted.
Okay, have you made any other changes except the tables?
No, I have not done anything like that at all. So we
Okay,
can
so-
work off of what you've done.
I'll send you these changes and you can fix these tables if you can.
Yes.
Okay.
So I will just download it into a Word document, so.
Well, it is a
before you-
Word document.
Yeah, so, but when I go to open it from the email, it wants to put it into a Google.
Well, just say
That's
no.
what- Yes,
Just
that's
say
what I'm
no,
saying.
no.
So when you resend that, yeah, this was just what I sent out to the two people that have requested it so far.
Okay.
But, yeah, you sent me that. Because I haven't, any other than like a grammatical error or a space, like I haven't changed any of the wording or done anything like that at all.
So you've changed spelling things?
No, well, I mean,
Because if you changed them, how am I gonna fix them?
yeah, so we'll just work off of what you've done. You send me what you've done, and then I can go through it.
Try to remember what you did.
Yes. That's, I mean,
You know what, with this many pages in a document, if we don't come up with like 25 errors, we're geniuses.
it's a lot of work. It is just so much work to do it this way. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go through and work. Okay. So, a heads up, I'm at girls' camp next week.
Sweet.
I will be at the meeting, I'll be home for the meeting, but for the agenda, I need to be able to put it out by Tuesday morning, or Jess is gonna have to do it.
Do it Tuesday morning.
Okay,
If we
so,
can't get our ducks in a row by then, it goes to the next meeting.
okay, alright. So, but yeah, I will just not be available till I run into town Thursday night to be able to be there for the meeting, so. It'll be on Tuesday afternoon, yeah, that's all.
Girls camp, great.
It's what? Whatever, it's way better than boys' camp, right?
It's great. That's why I just got back.
So you ran them over?
Oh, we didn't actually wind up running over, it was close. I jumped out, they're on this island there, and I'm kind of going through, slogging through the water. I'm like, you're not big enough, you're the biggest one. I just plowed this kid into the river. Took his squirt gun from him. And then I went back, we were just giving him hell. It was great. So that cut my feet up. When I got back in the raft and floated down, I had blood on, bleeding.
Oh, no.
And then we got down to the raft up, hung up,
You were rafting?
rafting the green.
Really? You have to do that for girls' camp?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I need to talk to my leaders. That sounds way
That's what our
better.
board used to do boys camp. for
That's
young men.
way
Yeah,
better.
we
We
took
should do that for
them-
youth camp.
Wakeboarding and surfing and then.
Nobody has those kinds of things in my particular ward.
Thanks, Corey.
We don't have those kind of cool stuff. But I could definitely get behind going up and doing Yellowstone or. Well, yeah, I did that as a young single adult. We rafted the snake.
Snake?
Um,
I don't know if I
rather do girls' camp than stay.
I think you could do it for a youth camp, but it was really cool. And we did it as a